Hello. So today I want to talk about people pleasing. People pleasing is a characteristic of the wounded feminine, of a woman who is in her wounded feminine energy. It's also a characteristic of men in their wounded masculine. But for the sake of this video, I'm gonna focus on feminine energy. So a woman who is in people pleasing mode, it's a woman who acquired a certain way of acting, of behavior, probably comes from her childhood, when she learned, from their parents or caregivers, maybe they had a mother or a father who or narcissistic or selfish or whatever, and they would, lash out, argue, you know and all sorts of toxic dynamics. And she learned from this early age that if she walk on eggshells, if she pleases her mother, pleases her father, do what they want, have a certain behavior they expect, life will be easier for her. So they won't lash out at her, they won't get angry, they won't, all sorts of things. So she learned that. She learned to focus on the external. She learned to focus on others and instead of focusing on herself. So she basically suppressed her feelings, suppressed her desires, suppressed her needs in order to please others so she can have a comfortable or enough comfortable life, or this it's not that big of a nightmare. And then what happens is she went into adulthood, she became a grown-up adult, and she's using the same pattern, she's using the same thing. So in relationships, in romantic relationships, in friendships, in work, in family dynamics, she focused on others. She focused on pleasing others and doing what they want and always saying yes and being a doormat because that's how she believes she can get things from people. And this is a bit of a selfish thing, but it's not, sometimes it's not even conscious. It's not selfish in a way that I'm going to use this person, but sometimes it's unconscious. It's just a pattern, a familiar pattern that she keeps repeating because she learned this. It's her template, right? And that's how she acts because she has this wound that hasn't been addressed. So she continues to do this. So she might think that, oh, I'm going to do this because I care about that person or I like that person, but in reality, it's to get something from them. It's to have a reaction, for them to do certain things that she wants for herself. And what happens is no one has the obligation to do that. For example, I see women sleeping very early with men because they want a relationship with them, even when they said they're not seeking a relationship. And because they think like it's the template at work. So they think if I'm gonna give what he wants, it has to give me something that I want back. No, it doesn't. It really doesn't, especially if he was clear in saying that he's not looking for a relationship. No, it doesn't have to. And this works in other scenarios, in other areas as well. So what happens is if the woman is in this people pleasing mode, what happens is she will attract users. She will attract users, abusers, narcissists, selfish people. They're going to just use her because they can smell from afar her pattern, her dynamic, and they're going to just see like, oh, okay, I can take all this from her and pretend I'm going to give her what she wants, and I'll never do. And until she wakes up and realizes that I'm just going to use her. And sometimes there are women who spend years waiting for something back and they never do. So how to heal this? Why we heal this? By addressing your wound, by healing that, by acknowledging this pattern. It becomes conscious, you bring light into it, and you become aware and you start healing. And starting healing means starting to have standards, starting shift the focus from the external out and shift the focus to you, to your desires, to your needs, to what do you want, and start giving that to yourself instead of waiting for others. Right? That's how you heal. And you start saying no to what you don't want. and you start, not accepting to be treated poorly, and you start putting yourself first, right? So that's how you heal that, because until you do this, nothing's going to change. You will continue in the same toxic, dysfunctional patterns and attracting the same types of people. It's just with different faces and different names, but the dynamic will always be the same. So if you want to know how to heal this, how to start having standards, start having boundaries, get my book, Embody Your Sensual Feminine Energy. I'll show you. I'll show you the book. It's here. Get this book. I'm telling you how to do this. It's in the link. The link is in the description of this video. And have a nice day.